is CMS Music with Chris Akin, and I, of course, am Chris Akin. And joining me today is a guy that's been doing it for a long time. As I was telling him before we started, I saw him eons ago when we were both youngsters. And now that we're oldsters, he's still doing it. I'm still doing it. And of course, I'm talking about Mr. Eric Forrest, formerly of Voivod, and for the last 20 years or so of EForce. He's got a brand new record called Mindbender, which is outstanding. And Eric, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me on. Great to chat and talk Cleveland. Cleveland rocks.
Absolutely, man. Well, dude, I'll tell you what rocks is Mindbender. What a killer record. As somebody that has followed along with EForce, I'm going to say this is the best one. It's
thank you.
And maybe I'm crazy on why, but you tell me. I just think this is the most diverse record that you've done. It's one where you really stretched. Anybody that's followed along knows you are just straight up metal, but you really stretched the borders on this one a lot. You know, there's some slow songs. There's as close to a ballad as you're going to do on this one. It's really a different record for you without losing the integrity of what EForce has been. Is that fair?
Thanks so much. Yeah, I think so. There's a lot for everybody on this record. One of the most important things I think is the production of the album is probably the best of any EForce record. And that has a lot to do with the new drummer I have, Patrick Friedrich, who's actually produced 4 or 5 EForce records from the previous past. So now that he's in the band, that's why the drums sound so good. You know, it's a lot more, shit going on. And my new guitar player, Sebastian Chiffaut, from a band called Evilness in the Toulouse in France area. Okay. He's part of the game or the band now. And that's helped. It's a lot of things, it's taken a lot of time. The last year album was 6 years ago. Right. And, people can think, oh, what the fuck you do? It took you 6 years to do fucking write 10 songs or whatever. But no, it was, we actually did like 25 shows in 8 countries in a thing called Voivod Revisited. Right. It's between members, between labels. So we got calls, oh, you play in Turkey, you can play here. So yeah, sure. So we did that. That took about 2.5 years. And then, writing the record, which I, composed like 8 of the songs and co-wrote a couple with the new members, and then the Voivod tribute, Insect, which is on the record or CD, whatever. It took some time, and then with all this COVID shit, and then a few delays, and then the release, and another 6 months. So it's finally come to shape. But there's I don't know, a lot going on in my life at the time. I think when I was creating the music, and you know how it is. It's just you seize the day and you get in the vibe and focus and come up with what you come up, roll the dice, and voila. So that's kind of what happened with this. And didn't want every song like this or that. I just kind of wrote it, and it came about as it did, really.
Sure. And it's mentioned, you just mentioned it, and it's mentioned in the press as well, that you took a long time to write the music, to actually, you took, instead of what most bands do, which is, okay, it's time to do an album, let's take 3 months, write 10 songs and record them. You took over 2 years to write them. Were you just actively taking your time, or was it just indeed that you had so much going on that you could never concentrate to write?
Maybe a bit of both.
Okay.
It took some time. I mean, I guess EForce is in a way different from other bands because it's, I've the guy who's been here still to 20 years later and changed the members. And the last 2 records, the Monaco record, not only did I write the songs, but I played the rhythm guitar on the album, as I did for this album also, except Seb played maybe 3-4 tracks, but only because I composed them and I could, I knew them, and it's my feel, so it was kind of thing like that, and the time and money and all that shit. And it just came about like that.
Right. Sure, man. Well, dude, the first song that jumps out from listening to Mindbender is obviously Futures Past, just because it's so different from what you're known for. It really stood out. So was that something you just felt you hadn't done before, or is it just something that you had a great idea
Well,
that you had, or what?
actually, it is on the CHRIS album. Had kind of like a little, intermission. I kind of got the idea from away from the Phobos record, the Tempt Mort, I think the song's called.
Right.
And like a little intermission, little break between the 4 or 5 songs, and then a little break, and then the rest of the album. I did that on the CHRIS album. I did that Demonical, and I thought, why not on this one? But this one was a lot more shit going on in the production and the sounds. Like it's like a movie and shit, and I'm singing a little, I guess a little Peter Steele, like I don't know how do you want to say it, but just tried a different, cool vibe and went with it, and completed the song. And it's like, okay, groovy, let's go.
Yeah. It's just funny when you listen to the album, so much of the material is so fierce. And then right in the middle, boom, slow down. And it's like, whoa, where did this come from? I'll not in the.
It's the pause so you can get more beer or whatever, or help you fall asleep, whatever, right?
Well, you know what it reminded me of in a weird way, and you may not even know this reference, but Sepultura on one of their recent albums, Machine Messiah.
Is that right?
They open their album with
Jesus
something similar to this, and it's like, honestly, the first time I heard that, I was like, did I play the wrong thing? Because how Sepultura is, it's just vicious. And I was like the same thing with your record. I had it playing through my computer, and I thought it switched to another release. And that's a good thing though, because you know what, this as well as anybody, man. If you do the same thing over and over and over
exactly.
and over, you lose your crowd and you lose your interest to make the music.
Yeah, you can't repeat the exact same record. Sure, the ingredients and the vibe, direction, where you're going, but keep an open mind. And like I said, this album really came out really well because Patrick Friedrich's now in the band, and because he's in the band and the drummer, and the producer, engineer. It's just, he was the first choice for sure. Because it's almost like he's already been in the band already for a long time. So
right,
that really helped. And all the guys, in the band live close to Toulouse. Well, me and the guitar player was like 100 meters from me, and Patrick, the drummer producer, lives like 45 minutes. So before, I was working with a guy who lived in Marseille in France. It's pretty far. So things, they seem to gel more when you're, more connected and closer together, as opposed to just always on the, the Skype or whatever, or sending tracks face to face to feel the vibe, as a band.
Yeah. Now, as a band though, you've had member changes throughout EForce, and obviously, you were in and out of Voivod as well, and I'm sure you were in other bands before that. Do you feel reinvigorated when you bring somebody in new with new ideas and fresh vision, or is it really a pain in the ass to try to learn them and learn how they'll fit your vision?
I think the most important thing that is very, very, very important with any band is the communication within the people and the personality and the working, understanding the environment of what this is about. Because, play with some good players who just jump on the wagon to profit or whatever as a stepping stone for what example, or so these guys are intelligent people. They know what this EForce thing is. They understand, okay, it's Eric's band. He writes the songs. We kind of follow his vibe, not our little ingredient. We stir it up, and that's what's been created. Right. And it can be, it can be very stressful, of course, definitely, because it's, in the end, there's always something, right? From this or that with any band these days, no one's making millions out of it. So, and no one's getting any younger. So it's, it becomes, the people I'm working with, they both have families and stuff. So it can be you have to plan things and organize and stuff. We're not 25 years old anymore, so we can all hang out and party every night and whatever. So, it's very difficult for sure, but I just keep going,
Right, exactly. Well, dude, I will say I love, and I do mean love, the throwback that you did to your Voivod era this time with Insect. Without
Mm,
question, it's my favorite Voivod song that's ever
thank
been
you.
produced, and Negatron
Wow.
is my favorite album that Voivod ever did, and
Thank you.
it's because that your era specifically, and I'm assuming it's you. You can tell me it's wrong. I'm wrong on this, but your two album, that one and Phobos, most metal albums that Voivod did. And Voivod obviously has that astronomy weird thing that they do. And
Wait.
you brought
Yeah.
metal to it, I thought. And
It was a thing. I just come in and we jammed like when I auditioned for those guys. I'm sure we'll get into more Voivod questions later, but even when I auditioned for them back in '94, we didn't even play. They didn't even say, "Okay, learn this song, this song, this song, this song." I walked in the room. One of their guys has a joint and goes, "You want some?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Give me a toke, dude." And they're like, "Okay, cool. He smokes weed. Great." and we jammed. Okay, just jam something, follow, improvise. We jammed maybe, I come up with a riff, some improvisation, and for maybe 15 minutes. And the manager, Pierre Parody at the time, just said, "Okay, stop. That's it. You're in the band. Everybody, yep. Let's go to the bar, have a beer. Done."
nice.
So it was really a vibe thing. But I think that's the most important thing in any band, to, how it can be somebody with the jealousies can come with a girlfriend or all that shit or whatever and all that stuff. But it's interesting. Everybody's mindset is intelligent enough to know, okay, he's good at this. He does this. He does this. He does this. Everybody together. But so it's kind of interesting for him. But the guys, Patrick and Sebastian, they really, support what they're involved in and support what I'm, believe what I'm doing. And it's, it's a hand of poker, the ace, king, queen, jack, right? I may have the ace card, but I still need the king and the other cards to get it done, right? So kind of like that.
Exactly. Well, and once again, your cover this time, or I don't know if you call it a cover, it's your song, Insect.
The third, yeah.
It's even more ferocious than I think the original. I mean, it's
thanks. We tried to do the best we could, and I think it's because the Negatron record we were tuned to 440.
Okay.
Well, Piggy had his A string, the A sharp, give him that fucking sound and everything. But we tuned to E flat on this record. A few previous records were in D, but so maybe because it's lower, gives it that darker vibe.
Sure.
And a few of the samples and stuff. But I think the tempo and stuff is relatively the same, but we didn't try to copy it exact. Close enough, right. But I don't know. It's not as easy. It's not as easy to sing these days, but it can still manage.
No question, man. Well, Eric, obviously, man, the big question for your band, for any band really right now, is touring. And no secret, it's tough right now. It's the pandemic's making it incredibly tough, incredibly financially difficult. It's so difficult to make these decisions financially just to have them canceled on you. So for you personally, what are you looking at as far as touring again? Do you think that you're going to be able to book like tours, or do you think you're going to have to rely more on like the weekend fly-ins or flyouts, or what are you looking at?
I think it's all going to depend. We have already show booked in Paris, January 2023. It's a bit in advance, but that and maybe 3 shows for May around the southern France area. Okay. I'm in touch with 3, 4, 5 different promoters and agencies. It's just a matter of the one we're supposed to go with. We'll announce that when everything happens, but they're waiting too. So, it's a kind of a thing like that in this sense. So we're just really glad to have the album out because it's taken so fucking long, to be honest. So it's another chapter. It's another trophy on the wall. You know what I mean? I don't expect to sell 1 million or nothing like that. It's just another trophy, and that feels good. And we just did a video, which just kind of got released by accident last week, but not in a bad way. But the label's supposed to do that, and the video. Anyway, long story. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it yet. Hallucination.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we're gonna get things sorted out as best as we can, definitely. And as far as, USA again, I would love to go tour that again, even if it's doing a set of Voivod. I'd be up for that for sure. It's just a matter of whatever. And yeah, if nobody, I don't know. I didn't even get a vaccine. I didn't even get my vaccine yet because I'm aware of the Illuminati and the New World Order and billionaires and all that shit. What's really going down? It's hard to discuss that with certain people because they look at you like you're a freak, and it's like, no, man, this is reality, But
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll
Well,
see what happens now.
Dude, I can tell you on this, I have not gotten the jab either. And I was hospitalized with COVID. And even after being hospitalized with COVID, I haven't got the jab. Same reasons you're saying, man.
Right.
I totally hear you on that, man. It's like,
right.
I'll make my
Well, what makes me think is these people that got the 2 vaccine already and they get the COVID after. What does that tell you?
Mm-hmm. Well, and what drives me the most crazy about this COVID thing, we won't turn this into a whole COVID thing, but what drives me the most crazy is these venues that say, well, even though people that have been vaxxed can have COVID and can spread COVID, they don't need to take a test. Only people that have been unvaccinated have to prove that they don't have COVID. And it's like, wait a minute. If your concern is safety, then everybody should have to take a test to go to a show or to a
exactly
movie.
We can do that here if you haven't done a test. Where I'm in south of France, if you don't have the jab, as you guys say, you have to to go do a test, and that's €25 every time you want. It's good for 3 days, so do the math, eh?
You're limited on what you can do. Exactly. It's
for a bit COVID propaganda, right? Exactly. That's the way I see it. Other people have different opinions, and that's cool, but
right, certainly, man.
No,
I hear you, man. Well, dude, moving forward with EForce here with Mindbender. I mean, do you feel like you can even make plans for the future at this point with touring and everything so much up in the air, or are you just going to try and do interviews to get the word out that way? I mean, what is the plan?
Well, we're gonna do as many shows as we can. That's for sure. It's just depending on when and what. We're gonna see later next year, probably by April, May, have hopefully some dates lined up like very soon for April, May, maybe later as it goes. But it all depends, I've been living in France since 2003, and I've been able to play in like about 18 different countries since I've been here to support the 5 albums I put out, which has been great because it's less expensive from airplane from Canada or whatever, and members and all that shit, and it's still very underground still, but we're waiting to see what's going to happen, and I really hope that we can to continue what we do best in a sense, and in the meantime a few shows here and there, and I already started creating songs for the new album, so
a typical musician putting out an album and already working on the next one.
yeah, it's funny how it works, but
nice. Well, Eric, where should we direct people to go to check out EForce and get Mindbender and follow along for tour dates and all that stuff?
Well, our website's www.eforceofficial.com. You can go to Mighty Records in Copenhagen, Mighty Music DK, or look up Eric Forrest on Facebook. There's a link to the EForce page. You can see all that stuff, and we're gonna, start posting more stuff as we go. And like everybody else, hope to get out there and rock again, and do what we do, and have the fans, and continue this life as best as we all can. But I don't know how it is. We're in Cleveland or wherever, but over here, it's still more bullshit of this and this and that. Now there's a 3rd vaccine for old people now. It's like, okay, what? The 4th and 5th and 6th is coming? What the fuck? What are we talking about? This is complete fucking bullshit. Yeah. And you just have to do your homework to realize what the fuck's going on. So I would love to be able to say, oh, we got 25 shows booked on right now, but I can't say that at the moment, but hopefully, something soon. Well, so yeah,
Will you
Sorry?
try to do maybe like some of the festival shows over there instead, just so that you could reach, the largest amount of people with the music, whether it be Sweden Rock or obviously Vakken would be awesome, but
Oh
and
yeah,
try
yeah.
to do those.
We've tried. They're very hard to get on those big shows. Even the Hellfest, they're very very difficult. We were asked to play the Brutal Assault Festival a few months ago in August, or 4 months ago, whatever. But because of at that time, the threats of you got to stay in quarantine for 2 weeks at your expense after this, if this, and it's just like, you know what, like fuck it, man, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. So we canceled, as a few bands did. We played there a couple times before, which is really good. Czech Republic is very good to EForce. Italy, Spain, the Eastern countries like Romania and stuff like that. We really love and enjoy. I do playing there, and like I said, we'll see. We'll see. I have to see what happens. We just released a video last week, so hopefully that's going to get a little more attention. It's got some cool stuff. A sexy girl, my girlfriend, breathing fire and looking demonical, evil, like
Nice.
Conjuring, Netflix, nun, fucking blood, shit, scary, satanic porno, fucking look, all that shit. But we'll see what happens, and cross our fingers to continue. I just wanted to add that we have a few special guests who do some solos on the album.
Sure.
Is this guy Dan Bond from a band called Monument, a good friend of mine from Toulouse, France. This guy Vincent Agar, who's like a French Malmsteen. He does the track on a song called Hypnotic, if you've heard that. It's like ripping. And a good friend of mine from Canada, Jim McLean, from a band called More Illinois. He plays a solo on it. And of course, Seb, and a friend Patrick's. And this guy Yavi Feliz from a band called Graveyard from Spain, Barcelona. So that was, a really collective. I've done that last couple albums, having a few guys. It's because I'm still searching for a soloist and the guitar player. No, but, still I like the few guests because it is what it is. And Sebastian is a great guitar player, but he's not the shredder kind of guy. I don't know. He does some really good stuff, and he has a style. And but the next album's going to be different. He's going to be more on board on this next one. Maybe not have to have more guests, but it's nice to have the right shredding at the right spot, because I'm a big fan of that stuff too. And yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it's killer, man. For people that don't know, the band is EForce. The new release is called Mindbender. It is out now, so buy it. I'll say first buy it, and if you can't afford to buy it, then you're allowed to stream it, but don't do it the other way.
Listen to it, drink to it, fuck to it, all that shit. It's all good, really. Especially that middle tune, eh? Hey, with your loved one, eh?
There you go. Yeah, lull her into it before it just
future's past. Hey, don't get her pregnant, right?
Right. Perfect. Well, one more time, the album is called Mindbender. It's EForce, and Eric, man, thanks so much for joining us here on CMS Music.
You too. Thanks so much. Cheers. Thank you, Chris.
All right, Eric. Bye. All right, brother. Bye. Take care, man.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks for checking out this episode of The Classic Metal Show. Get all of our episodes uncensored at www.theclassicmetalshow.com. Join us weekly from 9 p.m. till 3 a.m. Eastern at www.cmsradio.net. Participate in the live chat room at www.chatandkill.com. Once again, thank you for checking out The Classic Metal Show with Neely and Chris. Hail and kill, fuck you, pal, and hand job!